Welcome everybody to another YouTube exclusive Voice of Nick show. We're going to be playing more Pillars of the Earth, and we're in a bit of a pickle here because we got to prove our innocence or I think everyone's going to hang, so here we go. Jack's father was a jongleur. His parents thought he died on the White Ship, was then hanged in Shiring as a thief.
Jack's father, if he was still with us, he could be our witness.
Maybe he still can.
Oh, I see. Bishop Waleran wants to see Philip burn. It's behind the death of so many. Made sure to leave almost no traces.
Mother says Waleran was behind my father's death.
And she said he wasn't alone. There were 3 men responsible for your father's death. Bishop Waleran, Percy Hamley, back then he was the Sheriff of Shiring, and Prior James of Kingsbridge.
If they were all there, then they were all witnesses.
And only Waleran's still alive.
Hardly a coincidence. Why would these 3 men work together to falsely accuse your father?
He was on the White Ship. No one survived that night. No one lived to tell the story.
Yes. He was the sole survivor.
And then they killed him. But why?
Maybe it has something to do with the fact that the White Ship, didn't that cause Stephen to get on the throne? So that would mean that Hamley was most interested in
William
it.
Hamley's father. Why would Waleran, Percy, and James be concerned about the White Ship?
The son and heir of King Henry was on board. So were other possible heirs and other members of the royal household. I heard that Stephen was supposed to be on the ship as well, but became ill. He was the only male heir. The only threats were the king's daughter Maud and her half-brother Earl Robert, and they've been at war ever since.
And your father, Earl Bartholomew. He was a threat. He tried to stop Stephen and paid for that with his life. Maybe my father saw something on the White Ship. Proof that Stephen was involved.
What about the king?
Stephen always claimed that it had been God's will that he was not on that ship. That he remained as the only male heir.
That wasn't God. I bet Stephen had a hand in the sinking of the ship.
Now imagine what would have happened if he had learned that someone survived. Someone who might have seen what really happened that night. If Stephen was responsible for the sinking of the White Ship, then he may have wanted the only witness of what really happened to disappear.
But he wouldn't have done it himself, of course.
No.
So maybe he talked to the bishop?
If the White Ship is involved, then it's likely that Waleran was told by King Stephen to murder your father.
But he was not king back then. Why would Waleran listen to him?
He was promised to become bishop.
Of course.
Remember, Bishop Henry is Stephen's brother, and back then he was already one of the most influential clerics in all of England.
But if Bishop Henry is in on all this, what chance do we have to turn this trial around?
It is a public trial. All we want is for Philip to go free. We find a witness to expose Waleran. Henry would have to play along to appear innocent.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
It's our best shot.
This is a pretty cool way to do this. Alright, so who's the witness then?
Now, what about Prior James?
So, what about Prior James and Waleran?
Waleran was not yet bishop when the hanging took place. He was archdeacon. Philip told me.
But James still had to do what Waleran told him to?
I think that's very likely.
Waleran, Percy, and James might have been working for those who sunk the White Ship.
How are Prior James and Percy Hamley connected?
Not at all, I would guess.
Except through Bishop Waleran.
Yes. He needed James to arrest my father and Percy Hamley to hang him.
Now both of them are dead. That can't be a coincidence. Bishop Waleran is at the center of all this.
Percy Hamley was poisoned.
One less witness that knew about Waleran.
And Waleran probably wanted William to become Earl. He was easier to control than his father.
What about Regan Hamley? She survived.
She was taken to her townhouse in Winchester. And in her condition, she might not be able to help at all.
Do you think Stephen would have approached Percy directly?
Because of the white ship? To help him cover up his tracks?
I don't think so. I think it's more likely that Waleran contacted Percy. Just like he did when he wanted Percy to arrest my father.
The three people who murdered my father might have worked for someone else. Someone who had an interest in drowning the king's heirs. If the king is behind all this, what chance do we have to stop Waleran and save Philip?
We must do our best.
The king of the English. A ruthless murderer.
Wouldn't be the first time.
I don't think the king was very close with Percy. Otherwise, there would have been many arrests after Percy was poisoned. But the king didn't seem to care.
It's possible that King Stephen asked Waleran to kill Jack's father.
Do you think the king told James to arrest my father?
No. I find it much more likely that James was instructed to frame your father by Waleran, his superior. As Archdeacon, Waleran was much more involved in politics than James would have been.
I feel like we've tried every combo now. Maybe we have to go in the other direction.
If Stephen is involved, then his brother Bishop Henry would be as well.
I wonder if my father ever learned why he was killed.
Waleran, Percy, and James might have been working for those who sunk the White Ship.
I feel like I did every possible combo.
Percy could not have become Earl without Waleran's help. But then he was killed. Maybe he wasn't as useful an Earl as Waleran had hoped.
Waleran was James's superior.
Okay, maybe this?
Is King Stephen behind all this? Then what about his brother, Bishop Henry?
Am I supposed to click on something that's not visible right now? No.
My father wanted to go to England. He was the only one who made it when the White Ship sank.
Waleran, Percy, and James were behind the death of Jack's father.
I don't... Okay.
Percy Hamley was the sheriff of Shiring. Well, he could have ordered your father to be hanged.
But he was arrested and held in Kingsbridge first. Prior James claimed that my father had committed theft.
Percy and James died under mysterious circumstances, and Waleran lives.
James was the prior of Kingsbridge.
That's where they say your father stole the chalice, melted it, and sold it.
But we know that's not true.
As we found it, Philip recognized the chalice.
But Bishop Henry wants a witness. The chalice isn't enough.
But it's an important lead for us.
Oops. Crap!
So Waleran and the others claimed your father had stolen a chalice from Kingsbridge Cathedral, and that he sold it.
Yes.
We know that's not true, but we need a witness.
It's the only way to help Philip.
James claimed that your father had stolen the chalice and sold it. But instead, James himself hid it in Kingsbridge, in the crypt.
We found his scourge in a bed down there.
That secret chamber is important. Why was the chalice hidden? And by whom?
You said Prior James was full of regret. He probably couldn't just destroy the chalice. Not even after he used it to frame your father. It was the chalice of the Eucharist, after all. And a token for what he did.
Everyone thought Prior James was dead. That he broke into the ice. And now we know he was hidden away.
Why did his monks believe he was dead?
Sub-Prior Remigius told everyone he had found James' rosary by the river. So everyone thought the body had been washed away. They buried an empty casket.
But how is Remigius involved?
Philip told me that Remigius was there when Waleran made Philip prior. Waleran and Remigius knew each other.
That explains why Waleran later made Remigius prior of Shiring.
And Remigius recognized my mother when we arrived in Kingsbridge. He must have been there at the time my father was arrested. I think Remigius knows all about this.
Is it possible that Waleran told Remigius to make Prior James disappear when James began to talk about what they'd done?
When James started talking to the devil.
But for some reason, Remigius hid him away. But Waleran never knew. Yes, that explains why he really didn't believe you. When you said you had seen James in the fire.
Where James died after all. And Remigius thought no one knew.
We have to find Remigius. He's our witness.
Let's hurry. It's getting dark already. The trial will continue soon.
People know you two. You shouldn't walk around shiring like that.
He's right.
I'll go look for him.
All right. Take care of yourself. And Jonathan,
Yes?
we will talk later about what was said today. About Tom.
All right. Remigius, now where are you?
Yeah, I feel like Jonathan took that news pretty well. He should have suspected it, though. Remigius is our witness. Where is he? Ooh, we're searching around, shiring again. Good stuff. Guys, that's going to do it for this Pillars of the Earth episode. We are going to hopefully find Remigius and put this whole thing together. Didn't see these twists coming. Guys, thank you for watching. Make sure you're subscribed on this YouTube channel if you're not already. These Pillars of the Earth episodes come out every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday, 4 times a week. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you for watching, and bye-bye.